God shows up in a way that you'll recognize, in the way that you're going to resonate with, and in the way that's going to help you reach and touch and have a positive impact on the most people. There's so many different forms of God, there's so many different religions, and who are we to say which one is correct and that only one of them is correct? And I really believe that all of the different religious texts, they all have so much wisdom in them, and they're all talking about the same themes of love. They're all really saying the same thing at their core. And there's definitely a lot of room for misinterpretation. Not everyone that speaks of God has a real relationship with God. But whatever you believe is true becomes true in your reality. So if you believe in a certain religion, it's going to be reflected back to you. It's going to be confirmed to you, because we are God and we created Earth to be this way, and we created it so that we get to have so much control over it, and we get to choose through our beliefs and through our thoughts what kind of life we're living and what kind of reality even we're living in, what the laws of reality are. So although this is my beliefs and I believe in this spirituality stuff, I also believe that whatever people believe is true for them, is true in their world, because their beliefs are creating their reality. If you believe in a certain afterlife, I believe you'll reincarnate into that afterlife, because we're God and we're choosing whatever lives we want to live. And God shows up in all these different ways, because the most important thing is just to have a relationship with God and to be in touch with your higher self and with God, and to have that comfort and have that wisdom and be guided by Him and to feel fulfilled because of that. And as long as you're emphasizing love and embodying love, you're doing it right, and you do have a true relationship with God. And if you're wondering about the people who use God and use religion to condemn people and to be hateful, I don't believe that they have a true relationship with God. They're following another human who also doesn't have a relationship with God and is misinterpreting religious texts. But really, it doesn't matter how God shows up or what you want to call it. If you want to call it the universe, if you want to call it your higher self, it's all the same thing. It's all about embodying love, and it all has the same principles and the same lessons in all of these different religious texts. And sometimes when we bring like churches into it, people are in positions of power, and that can create corruption, and there's money involved, and there's a lot of room for misinterpretation and for things to become a little bit more corrupt. And so that's why I kind of choose to just have my own personal relationship with God, and to read the religious texts and to interpret them in my own way, from my own intuition and from my relationship with God. But I really do respect all religions, and I think so many different people of all kinds of different religions have a strong connection to God, as long as they're not being hateful, as long as they're not using it to judge people, which if you really read the Bible and read different religious texts, they tell you not to do that, but some people just ignore those parts, I guess. And your relationship with God, it should be serving you. It should be making you feel good. And if you are feeling a lot of guilt and you're feeling a lot of negative emotions due to your relationship with God, then ask God, ask the universe to show you the truth, because your religion should not be creating feelings of guilt. It should not be creating negative feelings. You are God, we're all God, and we're all one. And the point of having a relationship with God is to remember our power, is to feel fulfilled and enjoy life and make the most out of life. Because we chose to come down to this earth and we chose to have a human experience. And the point is to enjoy it to the fullest, and to live out our passions and live out our dreams and live out all of our desires and grow and learn and experience all these different emotions. I think that sin really just teaches us about certain things to avoid in order to be happy, in order to reach enlightenment. But it's not something that you need to be guilty about. It's not something that you need to be afraid of. God is about loving and accepting above all. I personally believe that heaven is on earth. You reach heaven by having a certain mind state, but that's what's true in my reality, because that's what I believe. But if you believe that you're gonna go to heaven after you die, then that's what's gonna happen for you. But yeah, religion should be serving you. It should be making you feel good. It's about embodying love. It's about helping others. It's about creating this life that is fun to live and that is enjoyable, and reminding us of who we are and why we came here, and helping us to live our highest timeline and to feel fulfilled. And so God can show up in all these different ways, and they're all real as long as they're emphasizing love. God is going to show up for you in the way that really resonates with you, in the way that you recognize, and in the way that you're able to reach the most people, impact the most people, because the goal is really for everyone to live the most enjoyable life they could possibly live and remember why they came down to this earth and to live out that dream that they had, that mission that they have. And so we need people, we need positive people who embody love in all of these different religions, in all of these different places. And so yeah, also just know my channel is never saying my way is the right way. Everything I believe is the truth. I really believe like it's all true, it's all real. I mean, even if you believe in a religion where you are hateful, your religion is going to be reflected back to you as the truth. But I think the truth of who we are, which is God, is love and is this higher vibrational state. Do whatever feels good to you, believe whatever feels good to you. I feel like in your soul you can tell like what feels right. And when I start to go down this rabbit hole of God being judgmental and God testing you and God wanting you to feel guilt for sinning, that just doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't feel good, and it just doesn't sit right with me. I just know that's not the truth of who God is. And I mean, it says this in all of the religious texts, like God doesn't have an ego. God isn't punishing you. God isn't judging you. God doesn't want you to feel negative emotions. Or I mean, we're supposed to feel negative emotions and like experience different emotions, but we're not supposed to have this constant guilt and this constant need to be perfect and repressing our desires and repressing our instincts. But yeah, there's so many different ways that God can show up, that people have a connection with God, and they're all valid. There isn't one right way to connect with God as long as you're emphasizing love above everything else. The point is really just reaching as many people as possible to make their lives enjoyable and to help them have an impact on the people who it resonates with as well.